Welcome to the Demystifying Money podcast, where each week you will hear unforgettable conversations with expert guests about success, money, business, and small steps you can take to elevate your life and wealth. Now here's your host, Misty Lynch.
Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us for this episode of Demystifying Money. I'm joined by my friend, Andre Toro. She is a photographer in the Boston area, and she has a very emotionally rich fine art style that she calls real art photography. She's blending candid and authentic moments with classic and timeless aesthetic. I wanted to have her on the show because I love talking to people who are career changers. Before turning to photography full time, she studied electrical engineering in Venezuela and later earned an MBA at MIT. She worked at the tech industry, including places like Microsoft and Wayfair. But after a major personal wake-up call, she started to reflect and then pivot her career. So I'm going to talk with her all about these things today. Andre, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for the invite. Happy to be here.
This episode of Demystifying Money with Misty Lynch is proudly sponsored by Soundview Financial Advisors. Visit www.soundviewfinancialadvisors.com to learn more.
So obviously we're in Massachusetts. Everybody here knows MIT. And so I'm curious to hear more about your training and background and working in big tech and how you decided to enter that field at first. And then we can get into some of the career changes you made. But yeah, I'd love to hear a little bit more about your story early on in your career and where you thought you might be when you started out in school.
Oh, yes, definitely not here. Like I would have laughed if someone would have told me. But to go really back, so the reason why I picked engineering, that was easy. I wanted to do engineering. Which one? I picked electrical engineer because it was the hardest to get in, period. I was ambitious, I was a nerd, I was a math lover, and I picked the hardest college back home and the hardest to get in. So I got in and I went for it. If that would have been mechanical, I would have probably done that. So I went in and I loved the experience. I had the time of my life, and that's where I found my passion for the tech industry, honestly. It was just by chance. My career in college was incredible. I always knew I wanted to go to MIT. So that was the other thing. I was obsessed with Sloan. My brother-in-law was teaching in Sloan since 91. I would come here to the US and sit in his classes throughout summer. So I was like 12-year-old and I knew I wanted to go to Sloan. So engineering school was kind of like the path to go to my end goal, which was MIT. So I did that. I ended up in Sloan, big dream. Finally, I could not believe I was sitting in the class like with all these amazing minds. And coming from Venezuela, that's kind of like the backstory. You don't get sponsorship for visas across industries. So tech was one that gave me the opportunity to stay in the US. And I was so happy that I love tech, and tech also gave me the doors and opened me the doors. Mm-hmm. So I started recruiting really early on. I went into Microsoft. I did my summer there. I loved it. I took the job on the spot. Like after my internship, during my presentation, they gave me an offer and I said yes. Mm-hmm. I just negotiated the green card, but I was like, this is it. This is what I want to do. So we packed our bags. We moved to Boston, to Seattle. We lived in the West Coast for 5 years, and I absolutely loved it. And believe it or not, my moment of change and taking something in a white canvas started there. Mm-hmm. So when I joined Microsoft, I was doing product management for the Office Business Group. So cash cow, huge marketing budget. I was flying in first class, like flat seating in the second floor of a plane across subsidiaries in Europe. It's incredible, tons of money. And then my internship team had spun off into MicrosoftStore.com. And they booked coffee with me because all of the big transitions have been over coffee. And my manager is like, oh, Andre, we're starting MicrosoftStore.com. We're going to sell direct to consumers. We have no budget. Only Steve Ballmer believes in us. We don't have an office. We work in a conference room. We need a category manager for Office. You work in the Office Business Group. Do you want to join us? And I was like, oh my God, the career path here is like so established and clear. Like, what should I do? And I jumped ship. I was like, yes. Like, I don't know what category management is. Like, I have no idea, but like, I will do it.
Yes.
I jumped ship, and with no manager, no nothing, like no concise, like path, but like a big goal that we needed to compete with Best Buy. We needed to sell Office. We launched Office 365. We did subscription for the first time. So it was incredible. So I got into e-commerce. I loved it. I had my second child, but I launched Windows 10 as well, and I knew I wanted to come back to Boston. My family's here. I have an identical twin sister here, my older sister. So we packed our bags and we come back, and I joined Wayfair. Wayfair is amazing. I had to pick one vertical, so I picked site merchandising. Why not?
Mhm.
I was doing site merchandising for all of the lifestyle brands. We launched Perigold. I was doing Just and Main, Birch Lane, incredible managing a big team. And then over coffee, again, Kate Gulliver, who's now the CFO, booked coffee with me. And she's like, Andrea, you're an engineer. I'm like, yes.
Mhm.
And you're a people person. I'm like, yes, again. Do you want to come and join talent acquisition and lead engineering recruiting for the whole company? And I'm like, oh, I don't know anything about talent acquisition or recruiting, but I would love to. So I jumped ship for the second
Mhm.
time, knowing nothing about how I needed to do it, but I had a big goal. We needed to recruit X amount of engineers and I needed to build a team. That was the funnest like job that I ever had in corporate. Like it was incredible. Incredible.
Yeah.
I reported to Kate. Like it was like amazing. Plus, like I just could do anything that I wanted. Like it was
Yeah.
just like a white canvas. So I was in both instances, I was doing entrepreneurship within Corp. In Microsoft as a category manager, and then in Wayfair building this recruiting team for engineering. And then running down the stairs as a rush mom, buying some tickets to Portugal, my life changed forever. So I jumped going down. I didn't remember there was a door at the bottom of the stairs. So when I jump, I gain height and I hit the door frame with my face and then bounced back with the stairs and forward. So I had three concussions in one
Oh my
that
God.
put me on medical leave on the spot. So suddenly, my big team of 40 people, my big career, my big achievement, my goal, personal goal, if you're Venezuelan, I wanted to be the CEO of like Procter and Gamble. That's a big
Right.
corporation back home, but like I wanted to be corp. Like that was my
Mhm.
dream. So I was in this path to do it, and suddenly overnight, Misty, blank. I lost my ability to do math. I couldn't remember the numbers in a row. My mom had to flow in because I couldn't tie my kids' shoes or like pull my head down. And like for 4.5 months, I lived in a black room. Nothing. No music, no TV, no books, no absolutely nothing. Just silence and trying to decompress the brain and doing all the therapies that thank God I live in Lexington and in Concord is the Cantu Center, that is the concussion center for the NFL. So
Yeah.
I had access to the best therapies, but my life flipped. And
Mhm.
for the first time, I had time to think.
Right, because you've been going hard for years, and it sounds like you mentioned wanting to be on that path to CEO. You were well on your way. And I mean, and also you mentioned a lot of things that make me think about your brain and what an asset it was because not only, and they recognized it too when they said you're an engineer and you're a people person. You have these skills that are rare, they're hard to find, and like that that value that we put on our education and our training. I think we think about it, but when you mention that an event like that and the in your brain and the impact that these concussions had and the months of rehab, I don't think all of us put enough value
Yeah.
into the ability for us to just to do our jobs, to function, all of these things that we kind of take for granted
Granted, yeah.
when it comes to our health and
Yeah.
so it's just such an interesting, it's such a successful career and such a dream. It seems like all of those dreams that you set, getting into school, going here, and then have an event like that. But what I love the most about you and meeting you last year is that it's not where the story ends.
Oh, that's where it begins. Yes.
That's where it does. That's not where it ends.
It
And what
does
I
get
think,
better. Yes.
and if it did, no one would blame you.
Yeah.
Nobody would say, of course, you have those, the chronic conditions. A lot of people deal with those, and you have children, you have all of these things going on, like, but it didn't really stop you. So I'd love to hear more about how having that time really with nothing,
So much time.
some
Yes.
of the thoughts about what that future was going to look like for you.
No, absolutely. And as I was mentioning before, like I never thought my brain was the one to play tricks on me. Like my dad had heart problems all his life, so I grew up with that anxiety. Like, but my brain was a given. Like it was my biggest asset. I wasn't the best in sports, but I was valedictorian in college
Yeah.
and high school. So that's where all my bets were, all the eggs were in that basket. And suddenly the basket got dropped and all the eggs got spilled. So it's like, what do I do now?
Yeah.
So it was horrible. It was really bad. My kids were really little at that time. So they were like 2 and 4.
Mhm.
Sorry, yeah, 3 and 5, sorry. So they were very, very small. My daughter was getting into elementary school. So it was a big transition for us, like from going to daycare to elementary. I always wanted to be a present mom. And that was the struggle that I had inside my heart. My mom had to be a stay-at-home mom. I knew I did not want to be a stay-at-home mom. I'm a career-driven person, the most ambitious with my twin sister because we're equally ambitious that I know. Like we want to conquer the world. And we truly believe we can because our
Mhm.
dad taught us that you can do anything. And that's a whole different podcast. But I was like, what am I going to do? Like, the story can't end up here. So I started doing meditation, which I thought it was impossible in my personality. My neurologist is like, Andre, you have 6 weeks to prove me that the headaches are going to go down because I would end up in the ER to get steroids to bring the swelling down. Or I put you on medication, and the list of the side effects of the medications are like, "Trrr." And I
Mhm.
was like, okay, I'll start meditating. Like, I don't want to go into that route. So through meditation, it became clear, crystal clear. And I don't know what happened or how, but one day I told my husband, oh, Jose, you know what? I'm going to be quitting. I want to start my photography business. And he said, oh, fabulous. Yeah, go for it. And let me tell you that my income at that time was the biggest income in my house. We were dual income, like 2 kids, double income, but I was like 50% of it. And he's like, go for it. I've
Mhm.
seen you grow businesses from the ground up in Microsoft and Wayfair. And I've been waiting my whole life for you to say this, but we've never talked about it because I had no ambition to be an entrepreneur.
Wow.
And funny enough, I went to MIT and I didn't take the entrepreneurship track. I took the
Mhm.
marketing and corporate track because I was going to be CEO
Corporate.
there or
Mhm.
CFO or CMO. So it was not something in the books for me or in my cards. No one in my family. Well, my dad was a small business owner, but he had me when he was 48. So he was retired when I was growing up. He was playing golf.
Mhm.
So it's not that I saw that hustle in my
Mhm.
DNA, but he said, yeah, go for it. So it became crystal clear when my husband, my biggest partner in life,
Yeah.
says yes. It took me 24 hours, Misty. Like, I
Mhm.
decided, I talked in the morning, and that day I quit. I called Kate and John Mullican, my CTO, and I cried. I cried with
Yeah.
Kate when I went in because I love my job.
Mhm.
I wasn't quitting because I didn't like it. It's because I wanted something different, a different lifestyle. I wanted
Mhm.
freedom of time. I want freedom of money. I wanted so much more than what corporate could give me. And it was this big transition in life that my kid was getting in elementary. So I was like, what time am I going to get home? Like 7 p.m. to put her to bed.
Mhm.
And so
Yeah.
it was just like the stars just aligned time wise. The 5-year-old with my kid, my concussion, this big crisis in my life. And I called her and I cried. I quit. And the next day, well, I talked to my mom. My mom is like, are you sure?
Are you kidding? Yeah.
Andre.
What?
Like,
Yeah. That's.
and my husband is like, yes, go for it. We've got this. And the only thing that he said is that you cannot be an entrepreneur and have the Rockefeller heart
Mhm.
because we cannot live the same lifestyle in the beginning because we're going to have half the income. So if
Mhm.
you're okay taking road trips and not traveling internationally with the kids twice a year, I'm all in. And I was like, fine, change of lifestyle. For my mom, it was a little bit harder because, like, as Venezuelans, I didn't come with a fortune
Yeah.
in my back. Like, no.
Mhm.
Oh, like my dad invested and my mom in education. That was like the biggest thing they gave us. It's like no
Mhm.
one can take education from you. So that was it. It wasn't the millions, it was the education.
Mhm.
So suddenly here I am quitting a reliable job and a career.
Right.
So for
Yeah.
me, it was a little like a harder pill to swallow.
Mhm.
And now I talk to my mom and I'm an open books with my numbers. Like my mom has known my revenue income like for the past 7 years. And now we laugh about it. And she's like, I was nervous. I took her to the bank with me to open the bank account.
Mhm.
She was like trembling. And I knew I just wanted to do it. And I told her, Mom, this is going to work out. There's no way it's not going to work out. It
Yeah.
was never an option that it was not going to be successful. And I knew it from the beginning, but I knew it was going to be hard work. And
Yeah.
that's where the story began.
And I think a lot of people, especially when you mentioned like families that have that high value on education, and a lot of client and a lot of people I've talked to that maybe they start out on one path. And I've spoken to other people on the podcast before who help people who are transitioning from, I thought I was going to do this, and now I'm doing something completely different, entrepreneurship, something creative, maybe something that wouldn't have required that expensive education or training. And they feel that sense of guilt or that sense of, and maybe that's what mom initially was thinking. It was like, but wait, no, we did all
Yeah.
of this to get you here. What are we doing? Changing
Yeah.
direction. But I don't believe that any of the education or the training or the work experience that people have goes to waste. I believe that it all can be very, very helpful
Oh,
and useful in the future. And especially in a in entrepreneurship, no matter what it is you're doing, but there might be a lot of photographers out there or people who love photography or thinking about a business that might think, well, that's never going to make Microsoft money. That's never going to
oh,
make
yes,
Wayfair money,
exactly. And I hear it
right?
all the time. And to be completely honest, I did lose my identity, Misty, because my job had always defined me, my
Hmm.
academics, my college, where I go to school, the size of my team, my salary. And suddenly I lost it all. So
Hmm.
like for 3 months, I couldn't leave my house because I couldn't answer the question, what do you do? I
Hmm.
went from being director to I'm a photographer. Like it
Hmm.
was horrible. And the first client, you won't believe it, the first client that I took, that was a family who lives in the same town, the guy happened to went to Sloan. The wife contacted me, it was Christmas, because I quit my job in October and I started my business the next day. And in November, I'm shooting for Christmas. And I'm sitting there, and the guy's like, what? You went to Sloan and you're just a photographer? It broke my soul. I got to my
Hmm.
car and couldn't stop crying. I was like, what?
Yeah.
And my sister is like, next time you tell him by choice. It was a choice. It was not because anything else.
Yeah.
So it was hard, but
Yeah.
once it clicked, and I said, you know what? All of this education, it's going to be a differentiator, and this is
Yes.
going to make 10x, and it's going to be faster. So the first thing that I did is like, what do you do in corp? You do education first, right? So I was like, why photography? That's a whole different story. I took classes while I was working at Microsoft, and I always joke with my husband, when I'm old and retired, I'm going to be a photographer. And suddenly, why not make my dream true
Mm. Why
now?
wait?
I'm
Yeah.
35 and I have better knees than when I'm 70.
Hmm.
So like, let's do it now.
Yeah.
So I flew to Panama. I talked to my husband in October, and by the end of November, I was in a plane to Panama to like mentor under the most famous Colombian photographer that happened to be in Panama doing a workshop. I spent a week in Panama, and then I find a mentor to do all the poetry and like artistry of photography. And I needed to specialize in the beginning. And I said, you know what? I want to be a family photographer. That's where my heart is at. That's gonna be, and that's where I started. So everything that you do in corporate, I was doing here. So I was like looking for education, looking for systems, like running with a Ferrari from the get-go, and not waiting to be a Ferrari to run with it.
Yes.
I think that's the difference from the approach that I was running a business. It just happened to be in photography.
Right.
But I wasn't a photographer. I was a small business owner that was running a photography studio.
Hmm. And that's the difference. A lot of times people go from a hobby to then trying to, finding something they really love and they're passionate, but they don't know how to turn it into a business. They don't know how to profit or to look at the business end of it and scalability, revenue goals, all of those things. So you almost went the reverse where you said, I'm a business owner, and you had a business mindset, and then you got the mentorship, you got the
The
skills, and
name
you,
of the art. Yes, yes. I had no clients, Missy. Like when I started this business, it's not that I slowly grew it and then I jumped. I had no one. I was shooting at that time my twin sister, her family, and all her dentist friends. Like,
Mhm.
so my portfolio were like 4 people, and that was it.
Yeah.
Uh, so yes, I had nothing. I had to build it from scratch. But I told myself and I told my husband, like, give me 5 years. My studio is gonna be bigger than my Wayfair salary, and that was my goal because I
Yes.
wanted the lifestyle. I did not. That's it. The other thing that people don't understand, they thought I was gonna sacrifice the income for the lifestyle, and I was like, oh, you're gonna be a stay-at-home mom? No, no, no. You're not understanding.
Hmm.
No, I'm gonna be a photographer and I'm gonna grow these to
Hmm.
even surpass what I'm doing now in Wayfair.
Yeah.
But people thought, oh, she's just quit to be a mom. No, no, no. I'm gonna
Hmm.
be able to do both. I'm gonna be a
Yes.
present mom with the lifestyle and the freedom
Mhm.
of time, and I'm gonna build these. So that was my ultimate goal, to almost prove everyone wrong. Like you can actually use the arts and make tons of money and have the lifestyle of your dreams.
Yes. And I think it's refreshing to hear that. I think a lot of times people think you have to give up one for the other. I don't believe that's true. But I remember feeling the same way when I left corporate, that all I wanted to do was replace this salary that I had here. And, I can't underestimate the value of having a partner that believes in you,
Yeah.
because that knowing I've seen you do this, I know you're capable of it. You've never not done anything you set out to do. So sure. Versus fear.
Yeah.
And then like feeling like, oh, I'm going to let everybody down, so having that support and being able to actually invest now in something new and spend more money probably year one to try to get what train and figure it out, do the coaching, all of those things, and be able to then, a few years later be where you're at. It's something that I think more people, I think that it's important to share those stories. And I'm glad that you're here talking about that now, because not only did you have to, build this business, like you said, from having a couple clients, a few, photos to where you are today. So tell me more about your business today and the families and the people that you serve, with your photography business.
Absolutely. So my big like inflection point happened in 2023. Up until the first, I would say 3 years, I was shooting mostly outdoors, which was awesome. And in Boston, the foliage here is incredible. It's prime time. Everyone is thinking about family photos.
Mm-hmm.
So it all started with for the holiday cards, right? And now I call it beyond the holiday cards. Like I don't even know if my families do holiday cards because they don't find me for that purpose. But
Mm-hmm.
it took me a while to find my ideal clientele. So as of now, like I'm happy to say that 50% of my income is family portraits and 50% of my income is headshots and personal branding. So
Okay.
that's a dream, an absolute dream, because it's
Mm-hmm.
not seasonal anymore. I was doing like 80% of my income in Q4, and now I have a revenue that is a 12-month. I
Right.
have a physical studio in downtown Lexington in a prime location, which is absolutely beautiful with the most natural light. I can shoot 12 months there, right? So I'm able to build like a machine that is sustainable, that is absolutely scalable. And now with a 50-50 split, it's incredible. And
Yeah.
I started 100% outdoors. And right now, I just pulled the numbers at the end of the year and I did 60% in studio. So the fact that only 40% of my income is outdoors, it's sweet as
Yeah.
candy, right? Because I'm not weather dependent, right? And
Right,
that's
because not even, I mean, being in New England, you're right. Q4 is when everyone wants the fall, the family photos are beautiful, maybe in the summer. Nobody wants a picture of anything outside in Q1. And I mean, most people might not even want their photo taken in Q1 unless they need headshots, unless they need something different because we're pale, we are, everything is dry and cold. And I think
And
that's
you
so
know what? That
smart
was
to
the
open
big
it up.
difference because the
Hmm.
family is a want. Like, and that's where the art meets the business and the brain. It's like,
Hmm.
I will never let the artistic go because that was the main reason I started this. That's
Hmm.
my why. It's the poetry, it's the real art, photography, it's fine art. Is as a mom, I wanted to freeze time and I want to do that for every single client that I meet.
Hmm.
And now, matched with fine art, like people find me and then they end up printing wall art, right? Like these are legacy prints, these are passed down from
Hmm.
generations. These are kids that had a crappy day in school. They got bullied and then they come home and they see themselves in the walls and they remember. It's a reassurance that you're loved. So
Hmm.
like the art and the confidence booster that the fine art does for my family side is something that I will never let go. And I'm
Hmm.
super happy with my 50% split. The fact that I have my studio, I can shoot people in studio. So that's all I want. It's a
Hmm.
desire. People might not find me because they want a big picture on their walls. They might find about it later on and say, why not? Like, I
Yeah.
didn't know people do this,
Hmm.
right? So they go that route. So that's a want. But the headshot is a need. So
Hmm.
people need headshots.
They do.
You want them, like you need them.
Hmm.
So those are the ones that actually I can scale really hard. And those are the ones I do Google ads for,
Hmm.
right? I don't do ads for family. Like it's the ROI is not there, but I do ads for
Yeah.
headshots, right? Because people go into Google like best photographer
Hmm.
for headshots. I need headshots, whatever it is. So that's what I go after. And I was able to scale and double the size of my studio by adding a genre and a revenue stream that
Hmm.
is not weather dependent and it's not a want but a need. So now
Yeah.
it's a perfect combination of like half and half. And the
Hmm.
third avenue that I started last year, that is another like genre that I expanded to, was corporate headshots.
Hmm.
So I miss corporate, right? Like I
Right.
love it. Like it's just in my DNA.
Hmm.
So I had the time of my life going to like big pharmas last year and like setting up my whole studio, bringing my glam squad because every single session we do includes hair and makeup. That's a given. Like that's just like there's
Hmm.
no way it is not because the experience is white glove, it's luxurious, it's pampering. So all these people suddenly in pharma were like thrilled that what we have a glam squad, and then all those people have families. So they had the
Hmm.
time of their life getting headshots that they normally hate when you
Right.
just stand in a line and people take your headshots.
Hmm.
Now they had these 10 minutes for yourself to feel like a superhero. And then, wow, I want to do family photos too. I was like, wow, I should be targeting like at least 8 or 10 like corporate clients a year. Like that's,
Right.
do the math. Like that's
Yeah. And
another.
that too, I think even as a corporate benefit, I definitely had like one experience where I early in corporate and we had to go to the break room and one of the admins was taking our pictures with like her phone and she took my picture like 3 times and she looks at it and she goes, I don't understand. You're you're good looking in real life. And I was like, how bad is this photo? And I wanted to cry because I was like, I'm just not a photogenic person. I'm sorry. And it was just awful. I can imagine if they said, here's the glam squad, here's the lighting and the people. I would feel like my company like gave us this nice, like something like very valuable and something that we felt good about, not awful. I
Yeah,
wanted to
you
go
have
back
no
to our desk.
idea.
This badge we had to
Like,
look at.
yeah, the
So
EA that
nice.
hired me, that was a referral because I had done family photos for an employee and they were looking for headshots and everyone hated the headshots.
He
No,
hated them.
and
Yeah.
she said, let's bring Andre. And I was so much more expensive than the regular like
Mhm.
headshot. And they say like, you know what? Let's bring her on. Well, I've been back 3 times.
Yeah.
Like the boost morale of the
Oh,
team was just incredible. Like, and I
yeah.
brought my whole studio. It's like you're not in the
Mhm.
Lexington studio. Like my studio came to you. Like all the
Yeah.
lighting, the lights, the props, the chairs, the makeup, the experience, the music, like everything. The whole
Mhm.
Andre Toro photography comes to you. So it's been a hit. And I was like, you know what? That's the next step. I'm adding
Yeah.
corporate that it might not live in my website, but
Mhm.
it's another revenue stream. So it's not, it's just adding things to the pie.
It's so smart. And this is where I think all of your business, your training, like all of this, it makes so much sense. And I think that also, mentioning the studio that you have and the space and being able to not be seasonal, but also your business could get quite expensive, say studio wise. So how do you make sure that with equipment, I know all of the tools and the things that you use to make your business successful can again become, like some people I talk to who maybe have, these businesses that could become very expensive if you keep buying the next greatest new thing or the space, and then their margins are terrible. So how do you always kind of keep that focus of your profit and your net versus the gross income that's coming in so that you're keeping more of it for yourself and your family?
Yeah, that's my favorite question ever. And I'm obsessed with the net. Like it's all the money that you put in your pocket that is the legacy wealth for your family, right?
Mhm.
For your kids, for college, for that investment, right? So the other is a vanity number. So I do have tons of friends that run really successful studios. Like you would not even think about. Like you cannot imagine that you can run such an amazing gross revenue studio in the US. Like it's when I share numbers with people, people cannot put them together. It's like, are you kidding me? Like, is it true? Like, yeah, it is true. But these people not necessarily run lean studios. So, and I talk in the car. So my kids know all of my numbers. Like every single month, they know exactly how much I make. They know the ins and outs, the growth over year. We talk about mix, this and that. So I'm driving. I was like, oh, remember this ex friend? They don't know names. Oh, she landed last year in X. Wow, mom, we're not there yet. I'm like, I know, but I don't want to sacrifice my lifestyle. So that's going to be mom like in 7 years. And I closed my year in X. Whoa, mom, that's super cool too, but like it's not like her revenue. And I'm like, yeah, but you know what her net is? And they do the math.
Mhm.
You know what my net is? And they do the math. Mom, she brought like just like 40K more than you and she worked like 4 times. And I was like, yes, sweetie, because like one is a vanity number.
Right.
Like it's great to say I run an X studio, but if
Mhm.
you're not lean, you're just basically working to pay others, right? So
Mhm.
there's a way to actually make it successful. So for me, it's like, how do I differentiate with a pack with shoot and burner photographers? Like everyone under the moon is a photographer in Boston. Like you open a window under a rock, you find photographers.
Mhm.
So I was like, I just need another lane. I need to be completely different. So I decided to elevate my brand from the beginning and call it luxury. And now it's super easy because it's been 7 years and I can own the room and I enter
Mhm.
and I truly believe it. But in the beginning, I was like faking it until I made it.
Mhm.
But I decided to be luxury from day one. And I think that's the difference with people. People wait to be great to increase
Mhm.
the prices and make it luxury. I decided to go luxury from the get-go. And I
Mhm.
was competing with photographers who were like 20 years older that had the legacy or like 20-year-old that are like were just starting out that have been doing this for 10 years. So it was like really hard. But I decided to become luxury. So I do white glove. So every single client, either personal branding or family, get a consultation. If it's family, I come to your house. Literally, I come to you and we talk about the outfits, the styling, the color palette. We go into your closets and we pick the outfits. I put them in the bed and I do all the hardcore. People do not book family photos because they don't know what to wear.
I don't know what to wear.
Take that stress out. I'll pick for you. And then we walk around your house. Okay, you're going to have these beautiful memories, fine art. Are you going to enjoy them? Oh, maybe in this wall. Okay, let's look at the interior design in this room. Like for you, for example, they're still in the back. So if I'm actually dressing you, I'm going to be dressing you in a color tones that match aesthetics of the room. So I might not dress you in red actually because if I
yeah, no, I'm like, I
but
definitely
if I
match your
put you
background
up
today.
in the walls,
Yes.
it's huge contrast. I want you to like blend in with the home decor. So like the outfits are picked with a purpose. The location, if it's shooting outdoors, is picked with a purpose. The color palette of my whole studio is picked with purpose to resonate with your interior design. So I'm a designer, I'm a psychologist, I'm a shopper,
Yeah.
I'm like a stylist. I'm doing all of this for you. Then the day comes, hair and makeup. If you're doing family, I send my hair and makeup to your house. Do you want to get the extra pampering? Come to the salon across the street. You get the whole experience. So we take care of all the scheduling of for you. You just have to show up and be happy that day. That's the only thing.
Yeah. And I think that's great because I notice even too with some photographers, I can tell that it's their photo and the people are replaceable because it's their layout, their color, all of that. And it looks the same kind of or similar for everybody. And so it sounds like that boutique experience where it's very curated for that family or that person. I think it's so smart. And I love the fact that you just use luxury right out the gate because no one's going to actually give you permission or tell you are a luxury photographer now.
Yeah.
Nobody does that. There is no like, I don't know, officer that comes out and says, yes, now you are luxury. It doesn't happen. I remember when I first started, leaving corporate and I was quoted in a magazine and somebody said, Misty Lynch, financial expert. And I was like, well, there you go. We're going to use that
I'm an
going forward
expert,
because
right?
somebody said I was. But I was like,
Exactly. So like from the
what?
beginning, I was like, this is the line I want to go
Where
after.
do I need to go?
Yeah, this is it. But I didn't wait for someone to tell me. I
There's
decided
no
to
permission.
proclaim myself as a luxury photographer, and I was like, what else can I do? So I'm gonna have these beautiful prints. Let's do the installation. In the beginning, like the wall art would live in the door, in the floor, like for 2 years. And then the kids were like older and they never put the wall art up. And I was like, no, 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 no. This is not gonna happen. Like wall art installation. I have a professional art installer who works with me, and we go to our client's home to do the installation. And you know what? When I'm installing, I am not installing, I'm entertaining the client and I'm networking. Do you have a friend that might be interested in this idea? And then I get a referral or it's another touch point, high touch point for my clients. And then that's it. We take the boxes and within like 40 minutes, even memory walls are up. Have you been doing photos for years and you never made it up? Send them all to me. We'll do the curation, we'll do the black and white retouching, and we'll do a whole memory wall. So from like single frames to like a whole collage, we take care of it. So it's beautiful. For my branding, it's like, okay, you don't have time for me to come to you and like pick your outfits. Let's do it via Zoom, super time efficient. And then the ordering appointment happens right after the photo shoot. So you just give me 2.5 hours, 3 hours, I'll build your marketing portfolio. Like you walk away out of my studio knowing exactly what you're getting, and then we edit those fine art. But we pick the outfits and with the posing, everything based on your brand. We do a whole brand audit. So I put my MIT hat on and we spend 20 minutes looking at all your marketing channels. Okay, what is it that we're going to be working on? So from the brand audit to like giving you the images, like it's the most time efficient because time is money, right?
It
Like,
is.
so I want to give you all the time back and then run with it for you. So it's like seamless and white glove.
That's amazing. And I think that execution and really going from like going into your closet to pick things out to literally getting it hung on your wall, that experience, because how many places could you lose somebody because, oh yeah, we never ordered anything or we didn't do anything or we decided not to put them up. You definitely make the process, it does sound luxury. You do kind of take them from the beginning to the end where when people think back about that experience, how would they not refer someone to you
Yes, exactly.
after that treatment? I mean, it just would be you help them through the whole step where actually, and I think people in their minds would love to have these family portraits done or do the wall like you're talking about. But then they're like, well, I'd need to execute all these things. And then it
It's
just doesn't
overwhelming.
happen. It's too
It's like
much.
it doesn't make it to the top of the
Mhm.
priority list. And like for even that reason that every single experience is customized to you, Misty, and your family,
Mhm.
I don't have pricing in my website. And the
Mhm.
reason why I don't have pricing is that I truly have no idea how much you're going to invest because it depends on your goals, your
Mhm.
dreams, and we're going to be building for you.
Yeah.
So no one can book on my website. Like everyone gets a discovery call,
Mhm.
right? Because there's no way of me knowing until I really hear, first of all, are we a good match? And then what is it that you want? And what vision can we bring to life based on that? And then I can give you an estimate and a price range for that. But
Mhm.
there's no pricing in my website. And some photographers go crazy. How do you not have like pricing? I was like, because I honestly do not know. I
Mhm.
have clients that spend X and I have clients that spend 10X
Yeah.
that, right? So there's a whole range.
Mhm.
And you still get the same luxury experience.
Mhm.
So if you're a small spender or like my massive super spender, the experience is white glove, king and queen.
Mhm.
So like
Yes.
that's something that it doesn't matter the spend, like the experience is always the absolute best because it's
Mhm.
like unreasonable hospitality. It's like above and beyond what you
Mhm.
even expected it was possible for both branding and family.
Yes. And I think a lot of times people say, oh, you have to have your pricing on your website for a lot of businesses. And some people say, oh, but what if that turns people away? And I feel like if you're having that call with people, and I see how people spend money all day long. This is what I do. If somebody really wants something, I've seen people find money for that Taylor Swift concert ticket. I've seen people find money for the experience like you're providing because it matters to them and they want it, and you really you really don't know unless you talk to people, because I think people always assume, oh, it's too expensive, or I'm going to do this or only this. You'd be surprised. For certain things there's a value to it, and for some people those memories with their family are priceless. They're everything. And
Exactly. And
so
that's the other thing. So people say, oh, Andre, but I have no access to the multimillionaires in the Boston area. Well, you know what? Me neither. I'm Venezuelan. So like if an immigrant was able like to build this business, then English is your first language, so you're gonna be easier. But you know what? It's priorities. Like
mhm,
my multimillionaire clients might not be my biggest spenders because they might not put either branding for their
mhm,
businesses or family memories in the top of the list.
right,
And they
right.
might spend $3,000 in a pair of shoes.
Mhm,
Like, you know what I mean? And then one of my best clients, who is absolutely incredible, you would never know that she spends so much every single year. But she
mhm.
said, you know what, Andre? For me, this is my gift.
This is
Like,
it.
this is for me. This is my
Mhm,
legacy. And like, I plan my budget yearly
mhm,
with you in it. Like, you have a category in our Excel because like we are coming back to you every
mhm.
single year. So it all depends on your
Yeah,
priorities, right? And you can't be the money police
right,
because you're not your ideal client. So
right.
you might not be able to afford yourself, and that's
Mhm.
fine. But you
Right. Or
cannot,
your friends might not hire you, or you might not be like your friends and family and closest friends might be like, that's crazy. I wouldn't do that. That's okay.
no, and they
Who
don't.
thought
And
who's
you
gonna
know
hire
what?
me?
And you know what? Like 99% of my clients are not from where I am and
Yeah.
are not in my circle, and that's
Mhm.
fine. And they know it. So, and I don't discount. That's the other thing. Either you pay full price or I give it for free.
Yeah.
Those are my two categories. There's no discounts ever. So it's not that someone's getting a discount and you're not. No one gets a
Mhm.
discount. And my friends have known from the beginning. So
Yeah.
like I don't discount. Like this is my livelihood. Like you
Right.
don't go to a lawyer and say, "Oh, we're friends. Can you
Mhm.
do this contract for free?" No. You pay
Mhm.
full price. So why the art has to be different?
Mhm.
Right? So like my really good friends get it for free. My sister, the best, she gets 4 sessions a year.
Mhm.
And then my kids get free orthodontics. So we're
Yeah, there you go. There's that bartering because that's
exactly.
very important
Yes,
too.
exactly. So over the years we'll be fine. But like I mean it, like don't discount it. Like do
No.
not like hold your ground. And it's hard because when you don't have clients, you think discounting is the way to go. But from the beginning, my
Mhm.
husband runs sales organizations. He used to work for HubSpot, now Datadog, big sales. He was like in the no discount from the beginning. And I hold my ground. And in the beginning, it's like, oh, let me discount. Do not discount. And it's hard not to. But then
Mhm.
like it's a snowball effect, right? So
Right.
price accordingly and then hold your ground because the market
Mhm.
will take time to adjust and your ideal client will find you. And then
Yes.
a mix between like digital marketing, in-person networking, and then referrals and repeats, and then the ball gets going. So you just have to like trust the process and
Mhm.
run it as a business.
Yeah. And I think that it's so important. A few things, that you mentioned out of the gate, you were a luxury brand. Out of the gate, you were not discounting. You were quoting people their prices based on the amount of work that it was going to take and the time and all of that. And I think that's so good to hear because a lot of times people who are starting out in business feel like, but nobody knows who I am. I have to be the cheapest. I have to be the most accessible. I have to be, and then that leads to you're still busy. You're working really hard but you're burnt out. You have clients that are not ideal clients, and then your time is gone. So I think it's so smart to actually start out with that where you want to be. Like, how would you act if you were a fully booked photographer? How would
Yeah.
you act if you did not have to worry about losing a client? And if you can act from that space before you're there, it's so helpful because you don't have to then fire clients. You don't have to then get rid of all of this, work that you've taken on or people that you'd worked with that are like, hey, where's this price go up? Where's my deal? When
Yeah.
you're not offering it anymore. So it's hard to do, but it's just such a smart way to
Yeah.
become an entrepreneur or actually
Can't
start.
act from scarcity. Like you can't
Mhm.
act out of scarcity. Like you have to have an abundant mindset.
Yes.
Uh, and then it's lonely at the top.
Hmm.
It is lonely at the top. There's less competition at the top. Believe it or not. Like it's a competition, it's
Hmm.
a price competition going down, but it's lonely
Right.
at the top. And
Hmm.
and people ask me like, who's your competition in Boston? I have no idea.
Yeah.
I have blinders on.
Hmm.
I don't even know. Like I know there's plenty of photographers and I talk to them all the time, but I have no idea.
Yeah.
Literally no idea because
Mhm.
it doesn't matter, right?
Right.
What I'm building is unique, it's custom, right?
Hmm.
So like don't compare to each other and it's fine.
Hmm.
And I decided and it was really hard for people who have been in the industry for years and suddenly Andre came along.
Hmm.
Andre, like who's Andre? Like
Hmm.
I, and I remember like what shifted my business 3x was a conversation I had with another photographer who is from Mexico, who I love her, over dinner in holiday of 2022. She said something during dinner that she doesn't recall saying, and it changed my life. And I was like, what? Is that even a possibility? She's like, sure. Well, I got home and I was like, how do you X, Y, and Z? I found a class, I found a course. Within a week, I had done them all. And starting January 2023, I had changed my whole business plan whatsoever. I had put the other one in the trash because my peers were not photographers. They're all engineers, doctors, like
Hmm.
sales. Like I had not, you don't know what you don't know, basically.
Hmm.
So when someone gave me the idea, I was like, holy
I'm gonna
guacamole.
run with
Like, I had
this.
no idea this was even a
Hmm.
possibility. And now every single photographer that I hang out with are running business just like mine. But like 4 years ago, I didn't even know this existed, right?
Right.
Or it was a possibility. And this photographer is like, what? I said, yes. I was like, yes, you changed my life. So you
I
never
don't
know.
remember saying anything. That's amazing.
No, she
Yeah.
doesn't.
But I
So
think that's so, and I love that you got that tip from somebody that admire and respected. I love the thought that there's not really competition. I don't go around looking at other financial advisors. I don't like, I feel like you're right. There is a certain point where if you're busy looking at what everybody else is doing and comparing yourself to them, like how many people are out there that need help or
yeah.
need what it's endless. So I feel like that looking at the competition in that way, it's not helpful. It certainly doesn't lead to expansive growth.
No, and then we can all rise to the top. Like there's
Yeah.
enough people in the world
Hmm.
for all of us to rise. Like,
Yes.
and then if you're able to find a passion and make it a full-time job, I feel the luckiest. Like sometimes
Hmm.
I'm overwhelmed and my husband is like, do you have the dream lifestyle? Like I am the default parent at home, and my photographer friends can't believe it because like they are not, this is super funny. Like all of my peers, their spouses are stay-at-home parents,
Hmm.
all of
Right.
them. My spouse has a super
Good.
awesome
Yeah.
job who's
Hmm.
not living it. So like we both have like high jobs, but I am the default parent. Like I take them to the pediatricians, I do drop off, I do pick up, I drive to karate, all of the activities, like I know all the school drama. Like I am not sacrificing that.
No.
There is a way of having the freedom of time of the lifestyle. I go to Pilates twice a week, rain or shine. It's booked into my schedule like a client, and I don't move it no matter what. Like
Hmm.
it's there. So you can find a way of having it all. It's not a compromise.
Right.
So it's just like being organized. I think that's the only thing. And knowing that if you wish for it and you work for it, it will happen. Not over time, but it will. So it's a super fun lifestyle. I would recommend this to anyone and everyone. It's not for the faint of heart,
Right.
uh, but it's fun. It's fun, and you can take it anywhere. So
Yeah,
my
it's
growth for next year is not going to be 2x
mhm,
because I would have to sacrifice the lifestyle, and I don't want
mhm,
it. So it's going to be 2x when my kids go in college.
right.
I know that.
Yeah.
And then
No,
I'm
but
going to
it's such a nice feeling to know you could do this here, you could do this in another, you could do this anywhere.
yeah,
And the skills, the business, all of that, is it, yes, does it help to have a beautiful studio with the lighting? Yes. Could you do this anywhere? Absolutely.
yeah.
You personally could build this business anywhere. And so I think that's just where that resilience and that hard work and that ethic is it's so inspirational. It's just so valuable to see that success and feeling like, no, the negotiables don't have to be not picking up your kids or your mental health or your physical health or going to Pilates, doing those things to take care of yourselves. Like you don't have to get rid of all of that to be successful.
And it hasn't been easy, Misty, because I launched in 2019 was my year one, and then COVID hit.
Hmm.
So when I'm finally like in this entrepreneurship life, COVID hit me. I was like, what? All right, so fine. I went through COVID, and then a year and a half later, I had to do an explant because I had breast implant illness. I was bedridden for like 6 weeks, and
Hmm.
I had to fly to California to get a surgery, and I had to close my studio for 3 months, and it was really hard. And then I overcame that and I kept going. And then I had another concussion, and you won't believe it. And then I've had 5 concussions throughout this time. It's a chronic condition. So
Hmm.
it hasn't been easy and it's invisible because I look fabulous. Like here, where you
Hmm.
see me, all glamorous, I'm
Yeah.
still concussed and like recovering from
Right.
a concussion in the summer. So it's like, how can you find happiness and how can you make it work when you're not feeling 100% great? So it's
Hmm.
a constant struggle because my health has never been 100%
Yeah.
since I started this business. Never. And that's my only goal for
Mhm.
2016. I tell
Right.
people, if you have health, you have no excuse.
Yeah.
Like, that's all you need because if you're
Mhm.
healthy, you can work. And if you can work, you can produce and you can build your dreams. So it all goes back to taking care of yourself and putting health in the center of it. So
Yes.
I don't take it for granted at
Mhm.
all. And that's why I take care of it because I know how horrible it is to have these symptoms and to not feel great.
Yeah. No, and it's so important. And I think that it's good to hear that because a lot of times, yeah, we think we have to sacrifice this or this is part of it, this grind or this, if I want success, I have to work the 80 hours, I have to do this. And there's other ways to do it, but it does require being organized and it is not easy. But I think with those, if you have clear goals and priorities and you know what you want, I think that there is a way to achieve all of these things. But you're right, you can't come from scarcity and you have to be pretty, yeah, you've got to, got to be organized and you've got to make sure that even if we're our own bosses, the things we say we're going to do get done. If I say I'm working out at 7:15 in the morning, that's where I'm going to be, even if
Yep.
I'm tired, even if I don't want to do it, because I know in the long run, your health and all of these things are so important to keep you going and to keep things moving.
Absolutely. And we're an example for our kids. Like my
Mhm.
kids have seen, my little one thinks I've always been a photographer because she was like
That's all
two
she knows. Yeah.
when I got concussed. So she was too
Mhm.
little. My older one remembers doing trick or treat in the Wayfair hallways,
Mhm.
but they're seeing it. So like I'm setting the example that this is doable. And I have open conversations with them. I never spoke about money with my family. Like money was there. I didn't grow up like with money challenges, thank God. I was like really blessed in that regard. But like it was something that existed, but no one talked about it. It was
Right.
like air that we breathe. Like with my kids, like this is something that we talk day in and day out. Like in the dinner, like we have these conversations. So I'm just expanding their universe
Mhm.
and capacities, right? Like you can actually pick anything and be successful. It doesn't have to be the pathways. In Venezuela, there were 4 careers. You were either an engineer, a lawyer, a doctor, or a teacher. That's
Mhm.
it.
That's it.
We live in a country that you can be anything. And
Right.
like, if I was able to do it in a photography business, imagine like what you can do in any genre and in any industry.
Yes, it's so true. And it's so important to talk to your kids about money because I feel like a lot of people say, my parents never talked to me about money. I don't talk to my kids about money. And then they're so surprised when their kids just expect it to be handed over to them and they don't understand, how much certain things cost and what they're doing. And so I think involving in those conversations can be really helpful for them to actually start to get a concept of going out there and making money and what you need to do and how you need to like how things work.
Yeah, and
Because
they know that the money doesn't come from the tree.
no
It's not
one's going to
mom
teach
is
them.
like
It doesn't,
picking the
yeah.
apples from the tree. Like
Right.
they see the work
Mhm.
and they see the hustle. And like twice
Yeah.
a month, I host headshots mini sessions in the studio, and those are cash cows. Those do have price in the website.
Mhm.
It includes hair and makeup. It's like 2 headshots. You can buy more. But those are like hard work because those,
Yes.
it's funny. Those are like the smaller
Hmm.
clients
Yeah. Still the
back.
same amount of work. You're
Yeah,
doing
it's
all
a
the,
marathon. It's a marathon. So like twice a month, I come home Friday night after like a 10 hours in the studio, and like my eyes are like I don't even know what my name is.
Mhm.
And like my husband has a pizza ready and like it's movie night. And they know it. Like I have
Yeah.
to come and take a shower before I say hello. And then other days,
Mhm.
my day's out at 1 p.m. because
Yeah.
you have like a whatever recital. So they see the hustle and then the flexibility and kind of like the best of both worlds.
It's good. It's good for them to see both. I think it's helpful. I always saw I understood and my father like worked from, from home for a lot of time. His business was run out of the house and I saw him going to the books and having to learn something new and having to implement it and how it wasn't just always the path, the paycheck comes every 2 weeks and that's it. And good or for the good or bad, you see it all. You see the days where you crash on the couch and that's it. There's nothing left. And then other days you start work at 11 because
Yeah, and yes. And my kids will probably need therapy for mom's concussions because like they think concussions are like normal and like recurrent and like people deal with. I was like, honey, like I never met anyone with concussion
who
until
had
like
this.
I had one. So yes, but like they see health differently, right?
Hmm.
Which is also good because
Yeah.
I do have to like take it slow. Like I could go so much faster and do more,
Mhm.
but my brain and my mental health is my limitation because I get headaches. Like I do. I still do. Like if I remember doing all-nighters in college. Like I could go 3 days in a row with the lab and doing this like now, like sleep, I can't take sleep for granted. Like I need my sleep hours. I need my exercise because if not, I get headaches. And
Right. Or else
I
it's going to
can't
make you
function.
less productive. Right.
Exactly. So like
Mhm.
it's in my own benefit. But it's hard. It is hard, but it's fun, and I would have never changed it for the world. And people who know me from like high school and elementary, I went to an all-girls Catholic school. We were like 48 for 14 years. The same 48. Only
Mhm.
2 people joined us in like 14 years, and like one person left. Like
Yeah.
imagine. They
Mhm.
can't phantom that I do this. It's like, Andre, you do what? I wasn't artistic growing up. I
Mhm.
was like nerd, math lover,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
nothing related to the arts whatsoever. So like you can pivot. I found my artistic side at 35. Like who would have known, right? Like
No. And you didn't just rule that out. And I love that you kind of looked at it from the fine art lens and the theory behind it and studied it like you study everything that you've tackled to really understand it. It just goes to show that no matter if you feel like you're left brain or right brain or whatever you feel like you're not a creative person or you're not a numbers person, like, but you could be.
you could be.
You
Like
could
I
be.
I really laugh when people say, "Oh, you're artistic. You're so artistic."
Yeah.
Artistic. Artistic has never defined me.
Right.
Like am I artistic? Like, am I truly artistic? I don't know. Like, people say I am, but like, I don't even label myself as
Mhm.
artistic. I,
Yeah.
I guess I am, but like,
Mhm.
you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, you can be anything, anything.
Hmm.
Well, this is the last story that I'll tell you. I once applied when I was coming back to Boston. I was obsessed to staying at Microsoft. I just love that company so much. I was completely obsessed. They didn't have any consumer facing
Hmm.
in Boston, so I couldn't translate. So I applied for a job that it was in cybersecurity. You needed to be like a black ninja, da da da, and I applied. Well, the manager called me, and I was still at Microsoft. He's like, "You have nothing in the resume that says you're a good fit for this. Like nothing. I had to call you because you were the only application
Hmm.
that didn't belong in this pile of applicants. So I just need to understand what makes you believe you're a good fit for this." And we had like a 2 hour conversation. He didn't give me the job, but he's like, "Who, like, why did you apply?" I was like, "Why not? Like, I
Yeah.
can learn that. Like, I can learn
Hmm.
cybersecurity. I can become
Yeah.
the ninja. Give me just 6 months." And the
Yeah.
guy was laughing, and he's like, "Who?" I was like, "That was my dad. He told me that I could be anything." And he's
Mhm.
like, "This is so funny. Like, I just needed to know who you were because you had nothing to do. You're not coming to work for me. Like, I can't afford."
But I wanted to take some time to meet you anyway
I just
because I'm
needed
so
to understand
curious.
who's this crazy person who applied to this job with like no requirements met. So why not,
I
right?
know.
Go
It's
for now. So
yeah. Oh my goodness. Well, I really enjoyed listening to your story and speaking with you today. If somebody's listening and they think that they want to invest in themselves, all these things you spoke about, they're interested in learning more or for their organization, how can people find you or follow you if they want to learn more about you and your business?
Yes, absolutely. So my website is the best place. So andretorophotography.com. I let Misty put it in the notes so you know how to spell it. And then you can follow me on Instagram. Andre Toro Photography is my hashtag. You can give me a call, 617-233-3779. I love talking with people on the phone. I always pick up. I'm the spam favorite person because I always pick up any number. For good or for bad. My husband claims that I don't pick up when he calls, but that's a lie. But yeah, so just call me and then we'll explore it. Like the sky is the limit. Like either personal branding or family memories, like anything that your heart desires or you're just intrigued. Like, what is this? Let's
Yeah,
chat and connect.
I
And we
love
might be
that.
able to create some magic.
Amazing. Well, I am very happy that I met you last year, and I think what you're doing is amazing and impressive. And definitely head over to her website or follow her on social media. Such a like you do beautiful work, and it's wonderful to talk to you more about it. And if you're at home and you're looking at things that you want to invest in for this year, head over to mistylynch.com. I would love to speak with you or chat with you about your personal finances, see where you might be able to make a bigger investment in this year to reach some of your goals, or you can catch up on some other episodes of the podcast. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll talk again next week. Don't forget to share with friends and family, and together let's demystify the world of money. Knowledge is the key to financial empowerment.